Hey everybody, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel presented by Connors and Ferris. Mike Catalana along with Dan Fates.
Back
Please make sure, yes, to like, comment, and subscribe. Yes, back in the States. Yes, it was quite a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed out.
Jenna's resting. Actually, Jenna's flying back as we speak.
She should be back pretty soon. Yeah, she'll be back. She'll be back to work on Thursday, so that'll be good. She'll be ready to go. We missed you over there.
No, you didn't.
Yes, we did. We talked about it. Multiple videos. Everybody watching knows.
Yes.
We said we missed Dan over there.
How's the food?
Italian was awesome. Burgers at the pubs. Big fan of the pubs. Big fan of the burgers.
Cold beer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Beer's cold. I don't know where that comes from.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But it was fun to be over there. Now it's fun to be back in dreary, rainy Orchard Park here for practice today.
And you guys came back in one piece, which is more than the Bills can say.
Oh, boy, it was rough. This was a rough trip for them in many ways. We'll talk about the whole travel part of it in a minute, but physically they were beaten up, and now as they come into this, so we know Matt Milano on the IR, Daquan Jones on the IR. We already know Trey White's on it and done for the year. Those two guys, what'd you make? Sean McDermott saying, you know, keeping it open a little bit that those guys could return. I guess that's a smart way to look at it.
Yeah, the reports from outside media, the national media, seemingly say Daquan with a pec injury, Milano obviously the leg injury. Both of them are requiring surgery. Both seem to be out indefinitely.
Yeah.
But they weren't placed on season-ending IR. Joe Biscaglia of The Athletic asked Sean if he was hopeful.
Yeah.
And he said that they haven't shut the door yet on those possibilities.
Yeah.
As Lloyd Christmas would say, so you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem great.
No, but I look at Micah last year.
Yep.
And he had his surgery.
Yep.
And
it's a good point.
And then there was the possibility if they would have won another game that maybe he would have come back. So, and look, I think honestly, if there is any chance, I think it helps a guy in his rehab too. He's got to stay into it. And I asked Von Miller about that, because it always fascinates me when a guy is injured like this. We tend to, and even the players tend to talk about next man up. And then I start thinking about the guy himself who's hurt and he's out and the game is going on without him. And Von says, yeah, it's tough. And it's going to happen to almost everybody. You go from every moment, what you're doing and thinking about is being on this field, being with your teammates and playing, to not. And it's tough.
And not only that, it's massive pieces of a Super Bowl contending team. Not to say that if somebody gets injured for the Jags or the Giants or, you know, the Panthers, it's different. But
it is different.
That thought of, man, we're really close to something, and the mental side of that. And I think that's something that I'm glad you asked Von that, because Sean had complimented Von on his recovery, especially last year. He'd never seen somebody so mentally positive, and that was Von in his so eloquently way of putting it of, you know, I've got such a great life and all these things. I've got my 11th season and I've got so many things to be happy about. Like that, I think helped his rehab. Not everybody's Von Miller.
Yeah. And I think it's tough. And that's why I say the mindset, you know, Matt Milano has played. He's had some relatively minor injuries, but here you're talking about being out for a long time. And I'm just thinking in terms of like so much is built into those guys. And we talk about next man up. And that is true because you line up with 11 guys and you play. Somebody's going to be in that position. But I'm glad to hear players and coaches talk about you don't replace those guys. Someone plays their position. I think it's disrespectful to a player who has achieved a lot and is playing at a high level to not just say someone's going to play there. Now, that doesn't mean somebody can't step up.
Correct.
But you're not going to be Matt Milano.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, is that next man up seems to make it so impersonal.
Yeah.
That you're just the next man up. And it's more than that. You're missing an all-pro. You're missing Trey White. You're missing – it's funny. I was thinking about it after the game going, you know, it's back-to-back weeks. They're losing all-pro defenders. You're also losing – if it's possible to say it, you're also losing the heart and soul twice.
Yeah.
I mean, Trey White, emotional leader, veteran, all those things. And then we've been saying for years that Matt Milano is probably the most valuable player on the Bills' defense. And now you lose that again after you already lost. And it's just back-to-back gut punches. And – the team can say it, and I understand, and I appreciate Deion Dawkins and Josh Allen saying it too, that injury rate is 100%. That's still a really hard thing to swallow and pick yourself back up off the mat and go play another football game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it's tough. And I'm sure there's some national guys who have hot takes on the Bills who just discovered Matt Milano is a linebacker for the Bills.
It's true.
And now will tell Bills fans that the season is over because they don't have him.
Correct.
They probably weren't aware who he was 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What would a video be without me taking a shot at the big guys? But, there's some experts out there talking about the team. But it's what happens. And that's why I say that about, 1/11th. Now, I will say this. It's like I think about Terrell Bernard running this defense and looking around. There's one thing when Tremaine Edmonds was coaching linebacker for this defense, for the most part, except with the safety injuries last year, he was looking at a lot of the same guys. Yeah. Terrell Bernard's only gone through 5 games, and he's got to be looking around going, he's new, and trying to get this together. And this secondary is still beaten up. As we're speaking today, you got Dane Jackson dealing with a foot injury, Christian Benford trying to come back.
Yep.
We know the safeties have, stayed on the field, but it's been a tough sledding. Yeah, and so him missing a game. So, and then wherever they are with Kaiir Elam, like this is a circumstance. A couple of years ago, we talked about how healthy this team stayed, and now it's a week-to-week thing and beyond that they're dealing with these injuries.
Mentally, I guess you're just kind of wondering where they are. And that's why I go back to what Dion said. He said it both times. We were in the locker room, we asked him about Trey, and he said it again after losing Milano and Daquan. It's just a lot easier to say injury rate's 100%, but then to start seeing guys not in the locker room again, I think I wonder when it wears.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it can be, and Sean talked about it today, you're still playing for them.
Yep.
Just because they're not making an impact on the field doesn't mean they're not a part of this team, and it doesn't mean they still don't have an impact. It's just not physically on the field. So I just wonder how long you can use it as a rallying call.
Yeah.
To get fired up, to mentally to get to play, to say, hey, we're playing for All-Pro Lano.
Yeah. Well, let's start at the D-line, though. I mean, when you start mentioning it, it's like Jordan Phillips has played a lot of good football in this league. Poona Ford maybe getting his opportunity. You got Tim Settle in there. It's going to be a combination effort, right? Because Daquan is a unsung hero for this defense.
I was just saying it. The play that he got injured on was just such a classic Daquan play for this season. Is able to get in the backfield pretty much before the handoff's off is given and injures his pec. So I don't know where you find another disruptor like that. And I mean that in the sense of Ed plays a different kind of role of a defensive tackle.
Yeah.
He's more of a penetrator, as Daquan kind of ate up a lot of those bodies so that Ed could eat. Yeah. So I wonder how Ed's performance goes along with all of this.
I'm intrigued by Dorian Williams. I really have to say. You see his athleticism on the field. Now, he's raw. And he's out there. I give Tyrell Dodson made some plays in the game, got his opportunity, and now A.J. Klein comes, likely be on the regular roster. So you've got a mix of guys, but I mean Matt Milano, that's tough.
Well, Sean hasn't had to rotate linebackers in his time in Buffalo. He's really kind of had these two guys that are versatile enough to be on the field the entire time. And that's probably not going to be the case anymore. A.J. Klein is a thumper. He is a guy that makes tackles, flies around like his hair's on fire, but he's not still at this point where he's going to be able to cover in pass protection or cover in pass play. So I wonder if there's you kind of talk about like a third down running back, does certain things offensively.
Yeah.
Do you have a third down linebacker? Do you have a linebacker on run, plays that you think the offense is going to run compared to what you think the offense is going to pass?
Yeah, it's been pretty consistent what it is. By the way, how long's Luke Kuechly been retired? Would you make a call? He's no way, right? He's not. He's pretty much said he's done, right?
Yeah.
Would you call him?
I'd give him a call.
Luke, Sean's calling. Hey.
Money talks.
How's it going? I don't even think it's the money. It would be like, he's made a lot of money, but it's like, come on, you can give us half a season, right?
Yeah.
All right. See if any of you know Luke. Give him a call. See what he says.
He's probably a Buffalo Plus subscriber.
I'm sure
he's
he
probably
is.
Watching.
Luke. Yeah. Come on. There's room here for you if you want to come. Hey, let's talk about Daboll and Josh Allen.
We know that this is a pro Daboll YouTube channel.
Yes.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. I love and respect Brian Daboll more than certain members of my family. I'm excited to see.
Which members, by the way? Do you want to name any of them?
No. We don't go into specifics. Some family members watch this. It's going to be. It's so quick with how bad the Giants are right now to lose sight of how good of a coach and coordinator and offensive mind Brian Daboll is. Already seeing things with how poorly they have played. They've had spotlight games, primetime games, without their running back, with you and me blocking for Daniel Jones. It has looked embarrassingly bad. Let's not lose sight that this guy was still the offense, or he was the coach of the year last year.
Right.
Still, that team has so many holes in it. And he didn't sign Daniel Jones to that contract. Wondering where this is. But Josh Allen will never mince his words or hold back for how much he loves Brian Daboll as a person, as a coach, and said today, so many people I'm seeing on Twitter, oh, Brian Daboll misses Josh Allen, Josh Allen misses Brian Daboll, all those things. Whether it's the chicken or the egg, they both made each other better.
Yeah. And, in the end, you need the better player, right?
Yeah,
and
that helps.
It's funny, when I think of Daniel Jones, it feels like he's younger. He's he came out a year after Josh, to 2019. I was at that draft. Bills took Ed Oliver, and they had already taken Daniel Jones. The man had Joe Judge as his head coach. I mean, that alone, he should get a restart for that.
Yep.
Just having that guy. The difference is Brian Daboll got Josh Allen as a rookie and as this young guy and was able to yell at him, be downstairs with him, be upstairs with him, all those things to get him going. He got Daniel Jones after he'd been in the league for a little while, and I don't think the patience will be the same with the Giants. But right now, Jones is banged up. Daboll has no weapons on that team. Honestly, I like Joe Shane. I think he let Daboll down a little bit this year. I think this offseason was a bad one for the Giants.
I think they could have flipped those contracts. I think you tag hindsight.
I don't even care as much about Barkley.
I'm just saying, I think you tag Daniel and you
for the 1 year.
For the 1 year. Because it was great what Daboll did. I'll never forget the first game, he goes for 2 at the end to beat Carolina, and that is what Brian Daboll is. And again, I can go back and I was going through my tweets and seeing time after time where Josh just complimented Daboll for his faith that he had in him, the competitiveness that he is, all of those things. And he was asked today, where does he rank as most influential people that got you to where you are as an elite quarterback today? And he said he had to be up there as probably one of the most influential people. Yeah. Where he met him at his career, what he was, all of those things. He's like, I spent a lot of time with that guy. They said they still FaceTime about every other week.
And the conversations go,
what's up? Miss you. Bye.
They know each other pretty well. I guess I was looking at it for Daniel Jones. He is not Josh Allen. He's a physically talented guy, but he is not in the same stratosphere as Josh Allen as a player. Yeah. Unfortunately for him, Daboll can't have the same patience, and the offense can't have the same patience with Jones. But when you see Daboll throwing down, that stuff happened with Josh where he would get really mad at him in 2018 and a little bit in 19.
Yeah.
And then that part was about done.
Yep.
And here's Daniel Jones, who's been in the league since 2019.
That's a good point.
And it's just not the same. So if I was the Giants, whether they tagged him or moved on or whatever they decided to do, I think they should have been in a reset year like the Bills did after 2017 and go get a quarterback. But, hey, that's the way they're running
It's also not
things.
how the New York market works.
I'm tired of hearing that.
You're tired of all
the New York market stinks in sports.
Yep.
The Mets stink. The Yankees stink. The Jets stink. The Giants stink. Right?
Yeah.
The Knicks are okay. When the Knicks are your shining star, how are they going to be in hockey this year? There's 3 teams.
Liberty?
The Liberty. There we go. The reason I bring that up is they act like they can't be bad or can't rebuild in New York. You're mediocre in New York City. Mediocre.
It's fair.
Okay. That's just I went after national reporters, and now I went after New York City. I only go for the big folks.
Get off my lawn.
Well, this is fake turf here that we're on. All right. I wanted to go to where they are. Where are they right now?
I don't know.
I don't love the first 5 games. I love the middle 3, the way they played.
You know what? I'm really the defense issues. I have concerns because of injuries.
Yes.
I'm also fairly confident that Sean McDermott can still keep this defense at a very high level.
Yep.
It's the system. Not that those are system players, but that they can plug and play people in to keep this defense, what I imagine to still be a top 10 defense in this league.
Yeah.
The regression that I saw offensively in London concerned me. The fact that for the first time in a while, we thought there was an identity with this offense.
Yeah.
And it was Josh Allen under center, and it was Josh Allen using play action. I looked up the stats. They took 80% of the snaps from the shotgun. They only ran 5 play action passes against the Jags.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
And listen, I had almost done a complete 180 on Ken Dorsey in his development and in this play calling. I feel like it was 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Where they get back to against the Giants, they stink defensively. They are not a good team. Get back to what you did against bad teams.
I was trying to ask Josh about pace, energy, rhythm, all those things. And the beginning of that game was rough because they went 3 and out.
3 and out.
And
then 3 and out.
But the Jags were keeping the ball, moving up and down the field. They weren't scoring a ton, but the Bills' offense wasn't on the field very long. And I wonder if it's a conscious thing offensively to almost say, let's go hurry up, let's go quick, let's get moving, because I think Josh responds well to that. This offense responds well. So maybe they learned a little bit of a lesson in there. I don't know. Maybe they saw something in the Jags defense. They adjusted. I don't know, because you got away from what was working.
What's a little weird, because we asked Ken Dorsey, was asked about it on Monday, about the shotgun and the under center. And he said it's whatever it's working with what Josh is comfortable with. And I know a lot of his career he has taken, that's the NFL now, is a lot of the stuff out of the gun. But the Bills are having so much success. And I also want to say this. There are a few things I'm very passionate about, like the salary cap not being real and things like that.
Play action passes
do not require you to be able to run the ball well. I can't say it loud enough. If you throw the ball 16 times in a row and then do play action, the linebackers will bite. Because there's no way they're thinking they'll throw it 17 times in a row. And then if you run play action again, it'll work again. They're statistically in data. Like, there is nothing. It is an old coach's tale that you need to run the ball to use play action. It's not. Play action works by itself because linebackers inherently are meant to go downhill to stop the run. You get people moving, and it's just for a half a second, and then you can throw the ball where they were.
Yeah.
Use play action.
Yeah.
It just was frustrating to me because also you talked about that game that the Jags had the ball. It felt like at times that the Bills were down 30 points. It was never more than a 2-score game.
And it's like 11-7 after we just talked to A.J. Epinesa. Making plays. He makes that play.
It's Dion.
There's Dion. He's walking away. AJ makes that play. It's 11-7. They're in it. No matter what had happened, they were in it. And then they just couldn't get it going in the second half. Speaking of playing there, so we were talking to Micah Hyde, and I said, you always hear coaches say we take everything like a quarter of the season at a time, and that's like big picture. Players is like week to week. Yeah. I never think they think of 4 games in a row. But when I asked him about putting the Jags game behind him, I wasn't talking to him specifically the result. He had a pretty positive experience over there, didn't he?
So happy that's over. So happy that's over. It was a fun opportunity. My first time going over there and playing in my 11 years. Never did it. I'm cool with never doing it again. Like I said, it was a fun experience though. That game's in the past. We're happy about that, but now it's week to week for sure.
Yeah, I tweeted that out already. That tweet kind of is making some noise. I think some people are surprised by it. He also said, not an excuse.
Yeah.
But he said the week was different. A lot of other things going into it beforehand, traveling Thursday, all of those things. I'm cool with never going back.
Look, these guys, if you want to go to London, first of all, they ain't sightseeing over there.
Nope.
They were staying 50 minutes outside of the city in a place that looks like it could be in the countryside of Western New York, okay? It didn't look anything like London when you think of London. And think of that, just compare it to the Washington game or compare it to the game at home against the Giants. It is totally different. Even flying out to California is different than going where they went. It's 5 hours. The time is, ahead. It was just a strange week. And look, a player's entitled to his opinion.
I love it.
The NFL has their opinions.
And also, there are reporters and there are questions that bait answers. That was not a question that you were just saying, hey, how did you look at it? Like, can you turn the page? Like, do you break the season up as pre-London, post-London? And he just went
off. Yeah.
Dunked on London.
Yeah, he did. And look, I wanted to get to Sean. I never got a chance to ask him, but I was thinking, if I'm breaking up my season, like London, it was just so different. Every part of that was different. So is this the part I should tell you that I'm hearing some noise that they could play in Germany next year?
Germany's not London. He said
Well, there you go.
He didn't want to go back to London.
Quote Dan with
Yeah.
that. Germany is not London.
Print the shirts.
Should I tell Micah now?
No.
He'd retire on the spot. I'm not going to Germany.
I'm good.
Yeah, you go on that trip. It's Oktoberfest. Kids will be how old?
Kids will be older.
Yeah, they're fine.
They're fine.
They're fine.
Oh, kids.
All right. Well, okay. That's going to do it for us. We got our podcast tomorrow and Buffalo Plus Live at 7 o'clock if you want to check that out. So that's for Thursday. So make sure you check that out.
You were saying tons of people, even overseas. Shout out Buffalo Plus.
I know.
Appreciate it as always.
People were awesome.
Yeah.
Videos did great. People were happy. But over there, like people from like all over the world, it was kind of cool. And they wanted to know where you were, and they wanted to make sure Jenna had a good spot on the sidelines, which she did not because they make you shoot about 20 feet back. But I had a nice spot in the press box.
6-3 best bats again.
We're hot. He's rolling.
We're hot.
He's rolling. All right, we got to go here because the Braves and the Phillies are playing, and we have to
go
be on
Braves.
the opposite side. So like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time on Buffalo Plus.